Yo, this is the weirdest interview ever. My phone literally died, bro. Like my phone, it's at 70%. It just shut off and turned back on. I was like, where did he go? I was going on and on. And then I noticed like you weren't moving. And I was like, let me stop and pause this. And then,
yeah.
And then two seconds later, bro, my phone pops on and it's like Samsung. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Yeah.
This has been the most eventful interview I think I've ever had.
That's all right. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get there.
It's all part of it though. So that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah. So, so I really love the concept though of Onyx Dynamics, and I love that subscription model because I feel like a lot of people they want to get paid per product, or they want to, like, you know what I mean? Like they want to make that grand scale. But I do think that building that community first is so important. Like building a foundational piece of what you can call like your subscribers, or the people who follow you, or the people who just genuinely care about you and the message you're putting out. I think that that's like the best way to go. And I think that people forget that it's one by one. Like I feel like,
oh,
now I'm getting calls. Jesus Christ. All right. So, I think that people just get
but when you talk about community, I think that's why it's so important what you're doing with the PRA network. When you have a place where everybody can come together and share ideas, and you can take the strength away from each person. So if you have someone who's great at podcasting, great social media, great sales, you bring it all together and you can help one another out. And I think that's really special, man. That's why I wish you nothing but the best with that.
No, I really appreciate that, man. I really do, because nobody told me about none of this. Nobody is like, you know what I mean? It's all just been kind of like my own intuition being like, you know what? I don't know anybody. I know when I started this whole thing, I knew 0 people. Like all I knew was Gary Vee said, you can download this app and you can start a podcast. And I was like, oh, really? Like you can do that shit? So then I started just recording my daily thoughts, just everything that I would think, dude. And all of a sudden I was like, I can't be the only one who like does this. And I was like, well, how do I get interviews? So then I started just reaching out to people. Hey, I really like your stuff. And it's just one by one. And I think like that's going to be like the main thing that I am so passionate about what I'm doing, is it's going to be hand-picked like people that I'm literally speaking with face to face, one person at a time. Like, and if that takes 7 years, 10 years to grow, who cares? But what is the network going to look like in 10 years? However many people I talk to and however many relationships I build, that's the stronger it gets. And so that's kind of the whole basis for that. I just want to help people, even if money and success, as far as what other people feel like it is, isn't what you feel like it is. I want you to still feel normalized and know that you have somewhere that you belong. You know what I mean?
And just to touch on the money thing, you will make the most money when you're not trying to make money. Like I'm so serious, man. Like you're going to start this network and opportunities are just going to come without you even expecting it. And that's when, I'm not saying that you're going to make $1 billion or anything like that, but I'm just saying when you stop thinking about the money, you start thinking about the value and what you're passionate about and just focusing on that, everything else happens. And I always tell that when it comes to Instagram too, because people are like, oh, how'd you get all these followers? Like not caring about the followers. That's how I got followers, like not caring about the money. That's how I got money. So it's just, I think you have the right mindset to make this thing grow, which is important.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm very extremely just happy and privileged and honored to have you be a part of it too, man, from the ground up. You know what I mean? Like you're one of you're basically you were the first person I think to request an invite to the group, which is absolutely amazing. And I cannot thank you enough, dude, just even for the support, you know what I mean? And so let's talk about and let's dive a little bit into your nonprofit that you're trying to help with, right? Is it your company or are you helping somebody else, or it's like a tag team thing?
Yeah. So the Chalice was something that was just dropped in my lap, basically. So I am a part of the New Mexico United fan group page, and I kind of see what they're doing, and I'm connecting with all the fans and things like that. And so I've actually made a patch for New Mexico United.
Oh, snap.
but wait. So I gave out 300 for free. Why? Just because I knew people here in Albuquerque didn't know who I was. So I was like, let me just give this out and people will start to know who I am. It'll help the business, whatever. I'll take the loss. So I was giving it out, and then United contacted me and they said, hey, would you like to sell your patches in our store? And I said, yeah, of course. So I go in there for a meeting and then they shut me down. They say, hey, you can't do this. Our logo is trademarked. We don't want you, even if you're giving it out, we don't want you to do it. So then I shared that story in the fan group page. And so fans started reaching out and saying like, oh, that happened to me. That happened to me. That happened to me. We really love what you're doing. We love the patches. And we should start a fan group page just to support local artists. So I said, okay, I know a little bit. I can help out if need be. And what I found was most people who wanted to start a new group didn't want to put their face on it because they were scared of why are they starting a new group, So I was like, hey, I'll lead that charge. And so in the beginning, it was just about starting another fan group. But then we started getting questions. How is your fan group different from the other fan group that currently exists, the Curse? And I didn't have an answer. I was like, I don't know. It's the same thing, I guess. And so then I started thinking about how do I make it impactful? Now that I have this group of people who immediately want to start something new, so I pitched them the idea. I said, well, what if we made this a nonprofit? What if the money that we took away, we gave to underserved kids to participate in sports? And I just threw it out there because I don't know, people are really hesitant to donate. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's an awesome idea. So here we are, still in its infancy. Still establishing. The board members have held several meetings. But that's just our mission, is to raise funds to help the youth out. So, yeah, the Chalice is still brand new, but, we're growing.
That's what's up, man. That's awesome. And I love that. I love the intention behind that. I love that it's literally for a good cause. It's not for, and I love the response more than anything. Like, oh, I don't know, actually, how. Yes, we're the same.
Yeah. You don't know until someone calls you out on it. You're like, oh, I guess so. I guess I got to do something different. It's one of those things where in business and entrepreneurship, the more you do it, the more you pick up on skills. So when it came like time to start this nonprofit, I was like, oh man, I've been building this brand for 2 years now. Like all the things that I learned about building my own brand, I can help the Chalice build and get off the ground, and it's been seamless, And with entrepreneurship, it's very difficult for most people, and I really believe that most people aren't built for it because you have to do everything. Like you are the social media, you're the logistics, you're the sales, you're everything when it comes to like a business. And so like I've self-taught photography and all this other stuff. And so when it came down to the Chalice, like I can help. Whatever you need, I can help. So it's just one of those things.
Hell yeah, man. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. It's just, you're always busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always busy.
So, and the thing is like, I just have a vision, man. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's not something that I just crafted. I've always knew since early on that I was capable of more. I just didn't know what that looked like. And my vision is always evolving, you know what I mean? So it's like, once I reach something, I'm like, all right, what's the next thing? And that's like my goal. Like, it's the same thing with college, man. So I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. And when I got my bachelor's degree, I'm walking across stage, I'm all happy, like, yeah, I did it. And I held my degree up high. And then once I put my arm down, the first thought I had was I could do more. And it's a scary feeling.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, I don't know what's next, but I know I can do more. And that's just kind of how I treat business. Like even Instagram growth, for example. In the beginning, I had like 200 followers. And I'm like, how do I get to 500? And then how do I get to 1,000? I cared so much about it.
Yeah.
And then I had an influencer who really helped me out. And he's like, don't care. He's like, don't pay attention to the followers because you're going to get caught in this numbers game. And then I stopped and it's growing. And it's just one of those things where I once I'm like set on it and I can see a clear vision, like I'm like full diving head in. And I think where people make the biggest mistake is they want to go from a cashier at Walmart to the executive of, Sony, right? Yep. And you could do that, but it's not about getting from where you are to the final destination. It's all those incremental steps in between. So like when I help people plan, it's like, yeah, you might not be able to get to executive, but you could be an assistant somewhere. You could be an intern somewhere, and you just start making those small, and it's the same thing in business. It's like, what can I do right now? And that's how I treat every single day is if you should be able to wake up and answer, what am I going to do today to reach my goals? And that's how that's just how I move. And so if I'm not working towards something, I get anxious. I get scared,
Yeah. I almost like get an anxiety attack if I have nothing to do that day, because I'm like, this isn't right. Like, this isn't right. I can't just have a day where there's nothing going on. Something's weird. Yep. Something's off. What, did something happen today? Did I miss a meteor or some shit? Like, is there something going down? Like,
hey, yeah. No, that's so real though, because like I just can't do it. And even on like my days off where I'm spending time with family and like say we go to the Blue Hole and we're out there swimming, I have like an hour on my phone. Just how can I make some more connections? How can I land a new deal? Like, let me just make sure I'm involved. It's just because I need that kind of attention.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. And I love what you said about like not playing the numbers game as well, because that's a big thing. I know that, I don't know if you know PewDiePie, the YouTuber. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you know PewDiePie, the YouTuber, but he just was the first one to hit over 100 million, the first creator ever to hit over like 1 million subscribers on YouTube, 100 million subscribers on YouTube. I was kind of freaking out about that. But he was talking about that too. And he was talking about how when you get to a certain point, it becomes like this numbers game, and that's all you start to think about. And he's like, it got to a point where I just had to stop caring. Like, I had to stop caring. I had to stop fucking paying attention to them. And he's like, the moment that I did that, everything sort of like skyrocketed, dude. Like, everything was just like boom.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're not focused on the numbers, you're more focused on the innovation. And it doesn't pull any focus away from that. So you have those moments where instead of focusing on how to get more followers, you should start to focus on like, how can I create like a better message, or how can I have it resonate with or create more value or something like that. And like you said, the small adjustments, and I talk about this a lot too, like the smallest adjustments make the biggest impact, but we don't see them right away. Like, you're not going to see one round of going to the gym the next day. Like, it's going to take a progressive, steadily, it's progressively going to take a bunch of work for you to get to that point. And like you said, going from, Walmart to executive and president or whatever, like, there's so many levels in between that you might not even want that when you get to a certain point. You might come over here and you might be like, wow, I like this over here, so I'm going to go this way instead. Yeah. And it's like it's realistically like just who you become on that journey that ultimately dictates like where you're going to go. Cause we always have like, we always have like these visions of what we want. And then when it starts to play out, you take another opportunity and you're like, wow, this is way better than I thought.
Yeah. And the thing, and I love that you say that about taking opportunities, because there's been so many times where I've been just terrified. Like, if I do this, I'm going to fail, right? A lot of people are scared of failure. And on some level I am too. But I notice every time that I'm scared of failing, like, if I push through it, it always works. I cannot stress that enough. So even like right now, I'm in my store. If you would have told me that this online t-shirt shop that I've had for a year would lead me to be in the store, I'd be like, you're crazy, you're out of your mind. This was not even a concept to me. And when you, like you said, and I'm glad that we're talking about the numbers thing, because a lot of people care about it. I get a lot of people who DM me like, how'd you get to 10,000? How'd you get to 5,000? I don't know. It just, well, I do know. I do, I do know, because like when I started, I was doing everything on my phone. I was taking pictures of all my products and all that stuff. I realized people connect more with professional looking photos. All right, let me buy a new camera. Invest in a DSLR. Right. No, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I spent like $3,000 on a camera that I don't even use to its full capacity, just so I could take good pictures. Watch a bunch of YouTube videos on Photoshop, and started putting out high quality photos. And then people started more likes, more comments, more followers, still not having a call to action. And I think it's really important for anybody who's getting into sales. If you watch Gary Vee, he's selling everything without selling anything. Like, it's brilliant. Like, he's putting out all this content, and he'll be like, oh, here's my new shoes. You don't have to buy them, but if you want to buy them, sure. Like, I'm like, I just don't understand how he's doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I mimic that style in my business, because if you give off this impression and genuinely mean it, you give value, and you're like, hey, this is what I learned. Here you go. Enjoy. People will always pay you back. So you'll be all right. So yeah, it's just been, I just don't like when people are, how do I get more contracts? How do I improve my sales? Like, just doing something that you're passionate about, because if you start trying to do a thing where you're selling, but you don't care about what you're selling, you're going to be miserable. I guarantee it.
I agree with you. It's
just amazing. And I also want to, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, sorry about that, man.
All right.
Sorry about that. Jesus. No, so I was
good. What were you going to say?
I was literally saying, I agree with that, because I've done it. I've sold a bunch of stuff that like I wasn't passionate about, glasses, fucking knives, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, but you have to, like, in order to be passionate about it, if you have to sit there and force things to, like, that you are going to have to, like, be like, okay, I use this in my life, so that way I can be passionate when I sell it. Like, when you got to do that shit, it's so hard, and you get burnt out way too quickly. When it's something that you're passionate about, it's always value, because you care about it. Like, you care about it because it works for you. So you're passionate because you're giving value that is 100% going to work for someone. Whether it might not be you, but it might be somebody. And as long as your perspective is out there with the right intent, I feel like it's all going to, like, cream always rises to the top. So like the truth will always kind of like show. And the ones who sell with integrity are the ones that you see on the forefront kind of making things happen. You know what I mean? And I think we really need to get through the fear aspect of it, because I think that's why a lot of people just don't even start. Like you said, like a lot of people don't even want to start Facebook groups because they don't even want their face in the picture. It's like, come on. We're in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't, that's the reality. And if you're going to start a business, or even if you're working on your personal brand, you have to have social media presence. It doesn't matter how established you are. And so you just need to get over it. Like, if you want to win in this business, you need to get over it. So it's just, I think the fear thing is really big. And I think people are still thinking, oh, well, there's somebody else who's doing it, or there's somebody else who, can make more money, or I will never get to where this brand is at. I mean, and in the beginning, I was the same way. I used to look at brands who had 10,000 followers and like, how I can't even how do I get there? How do I make that much money? And here's another tip on strategy. If you can connect with someone who's already been successful in your niche, they will help you. Some of them will help you get to where they are or where they were. So there's this YouTuber called Tactical Toolbox. His name is Jonathan. And when I started off early, I was pushing messages, just sending out hundreds of messages. Hey, this is my brand. This is what I'm doing. Just want to introduce myself. And most people would ignore me or just reject me, which is fine. But this guy had about 9,000 followers, and he goes, yeah, sure, send me your stuff. I'll check it out. I'll review it. So I was like, okay. I sent it to him. And today he has like 124,000 followers.
Wow.
And from my early on business with him, still keeps giving to me, because he put my products in a video from 2 years ago, and now it's just, I can't even describe it. When I see these funnels from YouTube, I'm like, I don't have a YouTube. It's all because of that one person. So it's incredible. Like, you never know, because you might connect with someone who may not be established, but you never know where they're going to take you. So, and I think that's getting back to the importance of having a network, where you don't know if Sam's going to be a millionaire and help everybody. Like, hey, this is what I learned. You don't know. Like, you don't know. It could happen. So
yeah, no, and that's exactly why. That's exactly the reason why I wanted to start this network. That's why I wanted to start the whole thing, is because, like, so it all started basically where I would start, like, before I was into music heavy, right? Like hip hop music. I was making music. I was doing the whole nine. I was trying to be like this best, like the best rapper ever. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was I started noticing, like, the Lil Pumps, the Smoke Perps, the Young Pinches, like the Killies. Like, I started noticing all them before they blew up. And every time I saw them, I would look at their interviews and I would be like, okay, well, here's their music. Let me check out an interview. Cause they were underground at that moment. And I was like, let me look at their interviews. They would have like maybe one interview. And this is when Adam 22 was like nobody. And so basically, you know, he would have them on No Jumper, which is a huge thing now. And I would watch their interviews and I would listen to them and I'd be like, you know what? They're a lot more smart than we think they are. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened was they started blowing up. So I was like, you know what? Like, I almost feel like I have this weird kind of, not like knack, but I have like this weird thing where I can like sense people's sort of potential and I can speak with them and at least kind of like be like, yo, like, I see something in you. And just in case, I want to at least know that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, I see something in you. I want to be a friend with you. I like, you know what I mean? I want to build you up and I want to see where you go. And so, like, that's kind of what started the whole thing with the interviews, because now I'm starting to see all the people that I've interviewed in the past and I start to see what they're doing after a year. And I'm like, man, that's so cool to see, like, this person now has like 15K followers, or this person is doing really well in this business and this person's doing this and this person's opening networking events and doing that. And I'm like, man, like you said, you know, you don't know who you can meet along the way that can help you out without you even having to ask. And it's almost like becoming mutual friends and building relationships with people is so much more valuable in the long run, because then it's like you can collaborate, you can help each other out. You, like, my following and my network becomes your network and your following. Like, it all kind of like comes together. And I think a lot of the YouTubers do that as well. And with collaborations, podcasters do it. And like you said, I think I could totally agree with it. Like, if somebody has gotten to a place of success, they're more than willing, more often than not, willing to give you advice on that, because they know how hard it is. They're not like anybody who is in a place of really good success. They're not going to sit there and be like, well, that's a bullshit idea. That's stupid. Like, they're more than likely to be like, oh, that's awesome. How are you going to monetize that? How are you going to manifest it? Like, what are your thoughts? What are your goals? Like, they don't shoot you down. They actually ask you more questions. And so you almost feel intimidated. You're like, oh shit, I didn't even think that far into my concept yet. Wow. Yeah. That's honestly why, like, I love talking with you and speaking with different people and just meeting people one-on-one and really like diving into like how we dove into like your childhood and kind of talking about how you grew up and stuff, because I like to know that. Like, I like to know what makes you tick, because then if I know somebody who could use your expertise, I'm more than happy to be like, dude, I know somebody who actually does this for a living. Like, he's probably more than happy to help you out. Like, so boom, there you go. And I've always kind of been that way.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like, when you get to a point where you kind of figured it out, then you just start giving value. You're like, hey, if this can help you, like, this is what I did, go ahead and try to run for it. Like, whatever you can do. And for people who are looking to grow their business or whatever, what you need to try to do, if you can, give out your product or your service for free. I know it's going to sound crazy, and I know a lot of people don't like to do that. Why would I do anything for free? But once you establish yourself in your whatever community you're in, you're going to be able to take off a lot easier, rather than this no-name person out of the blue trying to offer something for a large amount of money, rather than having some type of established groundwork. So if you are willing to just give it away for free, show people your worth, it'll all work out in the end. And then once you do get established, helping those other people out, because it's amazing. There's been people, like, I have this college team. He also sells patches. Well, he supplies patches. And I'm the person behind him. So I supply him, and then he supplies other people, right? And it's just amazing. And, like, he doesn't have any experience in art, sales, anything. I'm just like, hey, this is what I did. Go ahead and try it. And now he's just crushing it. And it's unbelievable. Like, and now he's funneling more people back to me, where he's like, oh, this person, this person, this person. So you never know, like, but you have to be real about it. Like, you can't just give this value out and be like, oh, I can't wait to get this money back. I can't wait to get this business back. Because it will not work, I promise you.
Yeah, you'll just get more discouraged than anything.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'll let you finish what you're gonna say, and then I'll ask my last questions.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about the childhood, but I think it's important where I come from. Like, nobody made it. Like, nobody's successful. Nobody went to college. Nobody has this awesome career. I viewed success as what my mom was, because she was the most successful person that I knew. She was making like $17 an hour, so that's what I thought was success. I was like, if I can make what she's doing, I'll be successful. And when you reach a level of success, it's important not to get comfortable where you're at, because it's easy to say, oh, I'm making $18 an hour. I'm super grateful. I'm thankful. And this is it. I'm going to stay where I'm at forever, rather than keep going and reaching whatever potential it is. It's the same thing with business. I just got offered a deal to sell my business a couple of weeks ago. And I had the meeting. I was like, yes, this is perfect. I'm going to sell it. I sat on it overnight. And I was like, wait, if this person randomly was willing to buy my business, I'm undervaluing it. That means it's worth something much more than what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. So there is no way I was going to – I called him the next day. I was like, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to do this.
I can't do it.
I
can't get rid of my baby.
I just wanted to make that point.
No, and I completely agree with that as well.
No. Too much work put in.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that as well. And that's funny, because that's actually usually one of my last questions on here is, what does success mean to you, and what kind of advice would you give to other people? I guess you kind of answered that, but what is your idea of success now that you've kind of made a little bit more of a standing in what you want to do? And what advice would you give for people who haven't even started anything yet?
First, I want to get to the advice part. My advice to anyone who hasn't gotten started are 2 words: plan, execute. If you can do those things, you will be successful. I'm telling you, but you have to be good at both. You can't just talk about it. You have to be able to lay out a plan, and a good idea is to write it down. And I know it sounds a little weird. I used to have a sticky note that I put on my computer screen at work that would remind me every single day. I would look at that sticky note, complete this coursework, or do this art, or do whatever it is. I'll look at that sticky note every single day and be reminded, okay, I need to work on something. So, and if you can plan it and execute it, which is just as important as the planning. So that's my piece of advice. Very short: plan, execute. Can't stress that enough. What do I determine as success? I don't know. I don't put a monetary amount on it. I think if you can reach your goal, that's success. Like, if it doesn't matter what it is, if you just plan something and you reach it, you're successful to me. It doesn't mean that you have to be a millionaire. You can make $0. But if you actually thoroughly, executed your plan, I think you're successful. So, yeah, that's what I would consider success.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I would say you are very successful then in that book. But I know but now I know you, and I know that you're sitting there thinking, nope, I haven't even done enough.
No, I haven't even started, bro. Like, you don't even know. I mentor the youth here. I volunteer at YDI to help the at-risk youth here in Albuquerque. And I was to this kid, and he's like, I just want to be like you. Like, I see a car, I see a house, and like, that's what I want. I'm like, dude, I don't even want none of this. Like, I just, like, I'm not even close to where I want to be. Like, I want to get to a point where this Onyx is my baby forever. Like, I don't have to do anything else. I could just focus on my craft. If I can get to a point where I don't have to worry about my day job, like, this is everything that I can put my heart and soul into at 24 hours a day, that's when I'll be able to be like, yeah, okay, I feel good. But until I get there, I don't even consider myself successful. I mean, I think most people will say that you've seen success, you make a little bit of money, you make connections, you're growing your business. Oh, yeah, you're successful. But to me, no, man, I haven't even scratched the surface in this book. No, not at all.
Hell yeah, man. And that's why, that's why you're going to go even farther. And that's why, I'm glad you got on the podcast. I'm glad you're part of the network, because I can't wait to see like what comes of everything, man. I can't wait till you start to scratch the surface, till you start to get in there and you start to, you know what I mean? You start to really, hit some milestones, and you really, like you said, you start to, develop this into something that you can do, that you're fully passionate about, fully on board with, and you're doing pretty much full time. So if there's any way that, I can help, please don't hesitate to let me know. And if there's, let everybody know right now where they can find you and where they can get a patch, where they can do everything, where they can work with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can follow my business account on Instagram at Onyx Dyn, so short for Onyx Dynamics. And you can email me at Maurice at onyxdynamics.com if you have any questions. We can connect on Facebook. I answer every single comment, every single message, so you won't get missed, I promise.
Awesome, man. Hell yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out. I apologize about the connection and all this weird audio stuff, but we got it done. We got it in the books. I'll let you know as soon as this podcast goes up. And hell yeah, man, I look forward to just growing the relationship with you and just continuing to build and just continuing to watch each other grow.
Yeah, and like I said, if you need anything from me, just let me know. I'm readily available to help.
Hell yeah, man, good vibes. And we'll have to get together since you're locally in the area. So
yeah.
We'll have
let's chat. We can talk anytime. Let's talk strategy. Let's talk business. I love talking that.
Dude, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hell yeah, bro. Maybe we even get a live podcast.
All right, man. Hey, take care, bro.
Yo, later, bro.
Hey, we could do that. Yeah, that's fine too. All right, take care, bro.
Man, later.